How are you all this morning? Thanks a lot for having us. It's humbling to be here with this and with the band of brothers and sisters of retail. Thank you very much for the chance. And I just want to start out by just kind of acknowledging the invitation from Martha and Kim and Terry to come and speak and be part of this. I had no idea what was going on down here at this conference. It's tremendous. And congratulations, Terry, on 10 years of putting this together and all that's accomplished here. And I think that the theme really that this idea of igniting or inspiring the customers, I like the word inspire. But this idea is really, I think, the message of this conference, as much as that we need to do this for our customers, we need to do it for ourselves. We need to get going. We are at a major crossroads in the retailing industry, the way I see it, for a couple of reasons. Number one is technology. It's been covered a lot this morning, but retailing and technology, if there ever was a separation, there is no more. They are together. The customer's experience of retail is completely integrated with technology now, and more so in the future. Second of all, your organization structure, and Terry mentioned it in his talk this morning, is if you're not thinking about your organization to serve the customer, then you're going to be falling behind in the marketing and these things are less meaningful now than organizing your teams together across teams to serve the customer. You're going to have to evolve your organization rapidly to be able to do that. Third, it's necessary to be as relevant outside your four walls today as it is inside the four walls. And then finally, I think also that you have to be upping your game on the experience inside the store. Because actually, at the end of the day, I think, particularly for groceries, I know most about groceries, is that down the road, 85–90% of the experience is still going to be in the physical store or in the integrated experience. And so your ability to continually improve and upgrade the experience in the store is critical. So we take, evolving and changing is in our DNA. I always talk about this at Whole Foods, that the word retail comes from the French retalier. And if you look at it, the definition of it is actually to recut the cloth. This idea is that this is a journey. This is a journey of creation. The actual essence of retailing is constant change. And you got to embrace that and think about the joy that's in that idea of meeting every moment with more creation. Retailing is an act of creation. It's a journey, and I find that very inspiring. We're not building furniture here. We're bringing an experience to our customers that needs to continue to grow and change, and we need to cultivate that ability to change inside ourselves and in our companies. And so my own journey started in a very small store in Northern California that just to establish my street cred here, I used to wear the tools and all that sort of thing with my little store, which, by the way, I opened, I put a cinder block out, spray painted open, put it out there, and I did $100 the first day. This was in 1978. Whole Foods similarly had a very, Jesse mentioned our start in Austin, Texas in 1980 at a single store at 10th and Lamar, and you can see it's a period piece there. But it's been 35 years now for the company, and during that time, this is our headquarters office now in Austin, Texas, and our main flagship store. It's 80,000 square feet. The first one was 10,000 square feet. So we've increased sort of 8 times in square footage in 30 some odd years. We're now $14 billion in sales, 85,000 team members, 42 states, 3 countries, $20 billion market cap, which is probably lower today. It's just been an incredible journey, most unexpected that we're here, most unexpected for us to be, where we are now. This is our newest flagship in Austin, Texas. You can see we put the full solar panel up on the roof there to power the store. About 30% of the store's power comes from the assembly up there. And the store we just opened yesterday in central London in Fulham, we tried something different here. We opened it on Facebook for the first day. That's the only way we told people we were opening it. The next day we went with the full thing, but this opened, so it's day 2 today for this store in central London. And then our newest store in Brooklyn, New York. Our experiences over the last 35 years have brought us to this perspective, which I hope to contribute to the conference this year, which is that the importance of a company having a true purpose, values, and a culture, and that those things put into practice in a real way make a difference to building customers' experiences and customers' loyalty over time. And this is how we kind of lay out our philosophy of business. I hope it's helpful to you. We call it conscious capitalism, and my partner, John Mackey, has written a good book about this. It's a wonderful read. Essentially built around 4 basic ideas. First of all, that a company has to be about more than making money. It has to be about some sort of greater purpose in the world. We certainly are a grocery store, but we're much more than a grocery store. And that purpose is the thing that you get up in the morning to do. It's the reason that you exist as a business. It's the proposition that you bring to the market. Usually it starts with the entrepreneur, but it grows over time, and you can see the Blue Nile mission that was stated clearly in their promise. And these core values are the things that you believe in that help you guide bringing that purpose to life. Conscious leadership is the idea that a company can only grow as much as the leaders can grow. It's this combination of emotional intelligence, awareness of others, empathy, spiritual intelligence. That is a leader's ability to grow. The company has an ability to grow as well. Third is this idea of the conscious culture, which is this idea. Culture is, in my definition, purpose and values practiced over time. It's the way we do it around here. It's the humanity of a company lives in the culture. And we actually draw up, the fourth one is our, let me just, I think I'll flip to this here. This is our kind of a formula around culture. This idea that the intelligence of the company lives in the locations, lives in all the team members, every single one of them. And you set our structure up to try to give them the room to move. And through that empowerment that they have, what happens is continual innovation. We don't have to send it out from Austin. It's continually happening. And that creates a cycle of innovation, new experience for our customers. And it's the culture that allows that to happen. And finally is this idea of the business existing in a family of stakeholders, that actually it's part of an ecosystem is maybe a good metaphor. You put the purpose or the meaning at the beginning, at the very heart of the company. Around that is arranged these various stakeholders, all of whom have a legitimate stake in the success of the business. Obviously, they're not all equal. Customers are the most important, team members second. But for us, this idea of making decisions in a way that constantly looks at the interest of all the stakeholders, tries to balance them, and tries to find a win-win relationship between them. And so, these are our core values that we've worked on over the years. Core values, again, being things that you really believe in. And what we've tried to do is take those values then and put them into action. Our first core value is the highest quality, selling the highest quality natural and organic foods. That's why Whole Foods exists, to bring the quality foods to the marketplace. We are not trying to be all things to all people. We know that we're not. We know we probably never will be. However, what we can be is selling the highest quality natural and organic foods, setting the standard on what quality means in food. And as somebody said, it's not necessarily just what you sell, it's what you stand for. And what we want to stand for is quality. And to put that into practice, we do continually set standards for the products for our customers. The reason this is important is because I believe that customers today want honest retailing. I think they want honesty and transparency from their retailer, wherever they get it. The standards for us are our way of saying, this is what you're getting when you get to Whole Foods. This example here is our meat standards. It took us 6 years to create these, working in partnership with our suppliers, the activists, the scientists, and the customer has 100% transparency into how that animal is raised, and in many cases, who raised it and where they raised it. So this particular system of it's all up on the website if you want to look at it, but this is unique in the supermarket industry in the United States. Eventually, I think as more information comes out about the 10 billion farm animals in the US and how they're raised, you're going to see the value of this standard, this stake in the ground that we have for our customers. Some people have said that we represent we have sort of a good housekeeping seal of approval. That's for others to say. But I think this idea of building trust with your customers through a clear position and by the way, we have third-party audits on all of these standards. Seafood, again, transparency on the sustainability of the seafood. We stopped selling red-rated seafood 2 years ago on Earth Day. I can tell you, I was amazed, talk about the millennial generation, the numbers of emails and tweets I got on the day we announced that we were stopping. So sometimes it's not what you sell, it's what you don't sell that makes a sort of difference around your trust with your customers. And finally, Whole Trade is our standards around ethical purchasing from overseas. We do buy product from 80 countries. This set of standards is social, environmental. It's got a wide, besides just financial in terms of the pay premium to the producer. For example, flowers, if I were to take you with you to Ecuador and you were to see how flowers are being raised right now, the child labor, the pesticides, you'd be concerned about what happens with that particular purchase. We're trying to do something about that through the standards. Okay, second of all, satisfy, delight, and nourish our customers. The idea, again, taking your values, putting them in action, living your values so that customers can see it and feel it, builds good customer experience. This, of course, supermarket shopping has been historically kind of dull. But customers actually want to have fun. They want visuals. They want tactile. They want the experience of coming to the store. And so here we are. I think vegetables are beautiful, and I think you merchandise with what nature gives you. There it is. And again, too, I think adding the team member, I think part of our model, part of our experience is to really, we have the highest labor cost, and because we have team members in the store who are helping to add to the experience. And again, there's a little, this is just kind of a little clip on the magic of being in the store, which is that, that moment that happens between a team member and a customer, right, where they're shopping, and then they're just, and then that package gets handed across. You all know what I'm talking about? That is the magic of retail, when that moment of connection happens between the team member and the customer. And these things can happen online. I'm sorry. They can be amplified by what happens in online, but it's the serendipity, it's the opportunity, it's the things that are unplanned that people love about coming to stores. And I think if you have stores, what you're thinking about is how do you continue to make those things, to build those things up for the customer. So this is something fun that we did. We had our butchers, and they did a best butcher contest, so we had regionals, and we went and had a global contest. You can see it was almost like the set of the Today Show or something like that, where customers were there involved in the best butcher contest with lots of fun in terms of building experience. This was another thing where we had our customers get involved to help us select, partnering with the gelato company, the next flavor of gelato. And they essentially participated online and also voted to create the next flavor. Then the company made the gelato, and we started selling it. So our customers involved in creating the product. Kids cooking schools, I think we tried this a couple of years ago, and then they sold out in a couple of hours in terms of involving the entire family in the cooking experience. To be healthy, ultimately, you have to cook, and so there you are. Pop-up stores, again, these things where what's happening now is our team members who are from different countries around the world are actually bringing their food and creating these little pop-ups and celebrating their heritage with our customers, and it constantly changing. The nature of retail is constant change. These pop-up venues are a great way to do that. I hope this isn't too much grocery talk for you, but hopefully it's not. It's okay. It's helpful. Okay. Here's the thing that's interesting. These are the bars. The one on the left is from Tucson, and by the way, we tried in some of these spaces to create a healthy eating education module. We had a thing we tried for a while in 5 stores. Experiment. Terry talked a lot about experiments, and it turns out we were selling healthy eating education. You get as much as you want for a fixed price. It didn't work, so we replaced them with bars. It turns out people rather get their healthy eating in the liquid form, I guess. But anyways, this idea of innovation. Customers want new things. Customers want different things. Customers want constant innovation. They expect you to be up to that idea of continuing to create new experiences for them. Here's something we did where we took, in one of our stores in New York, we took a local restaurant. We have a space upstairs. This is at Bowery and Houston on the Lower East Side. We give the space to a restaurant for a month, and then we move the next one in. Then we move the next one in. So it's kind of creative in terms of this connection with the local community. And this is the greenhouse on top of the new store in Brooklyn. We're 25,000 square foot greenhouse. It's outsourced. We didn't do it ourselves, but we're growing food up here for 4 stores in New York City, right on top of the store. And also, again, making products here. Again, celebrating these things that you can make that are exclusive. Whole Foods has close to 5,000 exclusive products right now and growing. And a lot of those are products that we make ourselves in the store or that our team members make, and we like to celebrate that. So mobile kitchen, obviously everything's on the move. This was kind of cool recently with the NCAAs. We created a beer bracketology on Facebook where customers had to vote for these various beer offs and then get the product, drink them, that sort of thing, and then they'd vote, and then we'd tabulate the Facebook posts, and they would advance to the next round. I don't know if people were still sober by the end, but anyways. And on the right is just one of our team members. We've just put out there, he's making tortillas from 8 to 10. And this idea of constant change, this idea of being on the spot, constantly evolving, things that are happening, doing something different. This is the imperative, and this is the joy, actually, of retailing. So here, this was a recent one where one of our regional presidents who had grown up in the supermarket business when he was 14 as a bagger, we created this new program called Front Runner. The front runner is the person whose job is simply to be out there and to walk the customer to the store, walk from the parking lot back into the store, what have you. And so this is a wonderful new program that we're trying. And we don't try everything in every region. We're trying it and see how it goes, and then we'll see where we go from there. Finally, our responsibility, satisfy, delight, and nourish our customers. We recognize the mission of the company is bringing healthier foods to the world. And so we've created this new program called Health Starts Here. It's built around 4 basic principles, and we're creating all sorts of educational programs around that. Again, the idea is here, if you say you're about something and you've got values around that, put them in action. Make sure they're not on a shelf. Make sure there's something that you are bringing into the marketplace to your customers each and every day so that not only do your customers see that you are who you say you are, but that your team members see the same thing as well. And that builds tremendous loyalty both with customers and team members. So our third core value, team member happiness and excellence. This is a simple truth about retail that many people forget, is that the customer experience and the team member experience are inextricably woven. And we're really clear that part of our job as leaders or managers at Whole Foods is to make sure the team members are happy. If they're happy, then our customers are going to be happy. And so we spent a lot of time thinking about and trying to build a culture of happiness and excellence for team members. And this kind of slide exemplifies that sort of spirit. But in New York store, one of the New York stores, again, good examples this morning, was up on the wall upstairs when I went up there recently was a dream wall where the store team leader had put up their, team members could post up their dreams, what they wanted to achieve in life. And we were able to take one every month and kind of make it come true. And I don't know where it's written that you're supposed to have a separate experience at work than who you are as a person, or somehow there's a dividing line there. But team members really respond to this idea of seeing them as a whole person. And we try to celebrate that. We do have, we have less than 10% voluntary turnover in an industry where it's closer to 100%. 39% of our team members have an equity ownership in Whole Foods, either through an option or a share, kind of unusual. Our morale surveys, we do twice a year, 360 morale surveys to check on where folks are, and I think have a pretty good handle on that, constant town halls. This was recently, we just created a Shark Tank for our team members, and we put $250,000 on the table, which they had to go through the contest, but then we invested $250,000 on their ideas to create new businesses within Whole Foods. And it was kind of a lot of fun. You can see the guy's pretty proud of his award there. And this kind of more touching story during Hurricane Sandy, you'll remember how difficult that was. This is a story about the culture of empowerment. This was a particular store where the power went out right when the folks were at the register with their groceries. And what are you going to do? And you got this whole, it's not like a single coffee or something, it's a whole basket of groceries. Well, what did the store team leader did was to just make a decision on the spot to help everybody pack up their groceries and send them home. Just take their groceries and go home. And that's okay. That was a good decision, and the company backed them up. And this idea that team members have enough ownership and enough empowerment to make good decisions to serve the customers is what we are really happy to celebrate. Well, listen, everybody at Whole Foods belongs to a team. Everybody, including John and myself, and each store has 9 teams. And I'm happy to be here with many of our team from River Road store here in Tucson. Jay Young, could you stand up for a second? He's our store team leader from River Road. There you are, Jay. Welcome, Jay. We roll as a team. And so now I have a distinct pleasure. I want you to meet 2 of our younger millennial team members from the River Road store. So Amber and Keeley, come on up, please. Welcome. All of us are dressed differently than we would be every day, just for you. Come on, guys, come on up here. Okay, so Amber, share a little bit about what we talked about yesterday.
So I just want to expand on the whole empowerment topic. It's really cool that I get to go to work every day and make my own decisions and not be afraid, or not have to be afraid of the consequences that I make with those decisions. If it's a bad decision, then it just is turned into a training opportunity and a moment to develop from it. And the team members are really great, and they create a different feel in the store. I leave work every day happier than when I first walked into it, and some of that is to customers leaving so happy, and also leadership from the store, but mostly team members that help bring and boost up my morale so I can make it through the day and the next day.
Thanks, Amber. Keeley?
I'm a huge supporter of our core values. I've had the chance to travel to a lot of different stores to see very opening and welcoming environments, and these are actually all shaped by our 8 core values. And what you find is that these open environments are really encouraging to team members, and it helps to boost morale. And if you have morale in the store and your team members are working effectively and together, it really helps us to serve our customers. But not only are we serving them genuinely and with sincerity, but we're also satisfying, nourishing, and delighting them. And that's what's a really great thing, is that you have all of these great interactions on a day-to-day basis with your team members, your coworkers, and then all these customers that you are sending home happy and fulfilled. And so it's really great to be a part of that kind of culture.
Thank you both, guys. Thank you very much. Aren't they great? They didn't even know they were going to do that till yesterday, so. All right. So another core value, we're not going to do them all, but suppliers, the idea here is win-win relationships with our suppliers. Again, if the future of retail, the future of business, in my view, is it's going to be greater accountability, greater transparency, greater responsibility for business. You know, interesting fact I forgot to mention earlier that the 56% of the proxies now for public companies are on social or environmental issues. So the customers and the investors are now saying, hey, how is the company showing up with respect to these areas? Obviously, we have a particular point of view on this, but nonetheless, I think this idea of seeing yourself in the business, participating in a larger ecosystem, and that you have responsibilities and you have opportunities with all of your stakeholders to build your business. This brings us back to Blue Sky Farms here, which is just located pretty close here. But I walked in the store yesterday, and they had this whole wet case is all from Blue Sky Farms. It's only a 30-acre farm close by here, but we do try to celebrate our farmers and our suppliers, make baseball cards out of them because farmers are heroes. And we also have developed a local loan program, which we started a few years ago. It now have lent out about $11 million over the last 5 years, about a 5% interest rate. The failure rate on that was about 8% in the first year. Now it's under 5%. And we're on our way to, we've approved $25 million of financing for this particular program. The loans are usually $75,000, $100,000. People use them for different things. But again, this idea, I think customers today, they want to know who's making their food. They want to know how it's being made. They want to know the story behind it. A lot of you have talked about that. Blue Nile talked about it. They want to know the story. They're interested. This is the greatest food revolution I've ever seen in my 30-some-odd years of retailing. The interest in food today is greater than it's ever been. And I think this particular program, not only does it let us be very localized in our product assortment, like Terry was talking about for Macy's, but it also builds true connections with customers and suppliers in a way that builds great customer experience. And so, particularly, I don't know if you know the Archie Acre story, but this was a vet from Vietnam that came back and decided he saw the need for vets to be trained, and so what he and his wife did, Colin Archipley, is he started training started training veterans in organic agriculture. We started buying their product, and now they're expanding their program around the country to train veterans in organic agriculture. Pretty cool story. So, and products with purpose, again, trying to be transparent on the story. Customers love to know how a product is made. And who's making it. And this particular is a hand lotion line that you can see the entrepreneur there on the left. But the team members really appreciate knowing this. And then when the customer comes in, they're able to give them a very rich experience around what this product is and how it's made. So here's just a couple more examples in the community. The idea in the community is essentially to serve and support our local and global communities. Again, the idea of you have these purposes, you have these values, how are you making them come real? On the right is the Tucson Food Bank. We just did $25,000 to the food bank, and we have an ongoing relationship with them. They take a lot of the stuff at the end of the night, but also we're supporting their efforts ongoing. This is kind of cool, and it's kind of counterintuitive. We made our stores CSA drop points. So CSAs are the boxes from the farmers, And you say, well, why would you, as a retailer, take and be a CSA drop point at your store? And the reason is because if you think about the stakeholder, the community loves it, the suppliers love it, the customers love it, and the team members love it. So in the big picture, it's a total win for Whole Foods to be able to do this and provide this service. And so we do it, and it works. And sometimes we also even put farmers market in our parking lots for the same reason. Finally, we have a couple of foundations. I'm just going to show you one in the interest of time. This is Whole Kids Foundation. We started it sort of 3 years ago. And what this foundation does is essentially trying to work on children's nutrition. You all know the stats on obesity and so forth in this country, but we have now placed 3,200 salad bars in schools. We've done over 2,500 gardens in schools, and we're developing an educational module for teachers because they're so pressed for time in terms of helping them to understand healthy food. So these foundations then become an extension of the company's mission or purpose. So it's not just our stores, it's this greater foundations that then, what's happening now, team members, by the way, in our company, 1/3 of our team members voluntarily deduct from their paycheck to give to these foundations. Voluntarily. And then also they are now volunteering, they can volunteer, and now this next year we're going to open these trips up to our customers to be able to participate in these service opportunities with the foundations. So you see the loop kind of gets built in a big way, and I think again this purpose and values in action builds a connection that endures. And I want to share with you, this was one last story here, was when, you may remember when the budget thing happened in Washington. One of our regions decided, this is the sequester, one of our regions decided to do a spaghetti field, spontaneously do a spaghetti feed for all the federal workers. And we just, all of our stores in DC and Virginia, he didn't ask anybody, he just did it. And so you come in, the federal workers came in and get a spaghetti for $1 or something like that. And it was very popularly received, not only by them, but also by the community as well. So, okay, well, just taking that stakeholder model now, I want to just give you an example of how it can work here, which is when you take and you look at any one of your stakeholders, you can see a new way of looking at your business. And in this case, I want to share with you a story about our story to build a store in Detroit. And you all know the story of Detroit. It's a city that was 200 and some odd million people, is now 700,000, back on its heel, broke, bankruptcy, and that sort of thing. And by the way, there are no grocery stores in the center of Detroit. And the health expectancy in the city of Detroit is 12 years less than outside of the city of Detroit. Or put another way, there's 12 years of lost human potential in the city of Detroit. So anyways, it bothered me. We started to think about doing something about that since we know a little bit about food and we know about the potential for healthy food. And so we started meeting with the community, met with them for a year before we actually decided to do the store. And I think this idea of really, I think going back and really truly listening, several speakers mentioned this morning, listening and respecting what the community wants. I mean, we're a community-based store, so we're listening to what the community, really going back and looking again and listening again to what they really want, and then making your effort come from there is part of the potential of building a deeper relationship. I think your customers, our customers, they want to see deeper connections. They want to see a deeper community engagement, and when they see that, they feel good about Whole Foods. So met with the pastors, because in Detroit, the religious community, that the pastors are very influential. This was opening day, one of the greatest days in my career. One of the greatest days in my career, because not only was the purpose of Whole Foods on the line, but it was actually in action, creating a moment in a day where just for a moment, cynicism and all the criticism left, and what was left was this sense of hope and possibility in a community. It was a great day. I'm going to show you a clip now. I think that hope captures that a little bit in just a minute. But here's the sort of thing that the customers, this deep community, engaged with the Facebook. This guy was promoted. Larry, our store team leader, picked him up working at a 7-Eleven or something. This post about his promotion got over 250,000 likes. Incredible experience. Anyways, just what I shared with you along the way, I think that my point of view is that, again, this may be different, or this may be different than other presenters are bringing today, but this idea that if a company, that it really does matter who you are and what you stand for, your purpose, your values, the culture that you create, these are the things that I think that have the potential to create true customer experience and build loyalty over the long term. And so with that, I want to thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. So. Martha, do you want me to do some questions? Or? Okay, great. Fire away. Yes, ma'am.
There was an article recently in Forbes, I think, that was about healthcare becoming a retail business. I think the headline was, will shoppers buy their healthcare at Walmart? How are you looking at this convergence of health wellness through food and actual, maybe bordering on advice, bordering on service of healthcare?
It's great. It's a great question about the convergence between healthcare and, I mean, obviously, our point of view is that the number one thing you can do is take responsibility for your diet. That's going to be the biggest determinant of your healthcare, the preventative investment. So we've developed this whole healthy eating education program, which is going to show up now in terms of the store with good, better, best labeling, with lots of educational curriculum. We've also developed immersions, week-long healthcare programs for our team members, which we pay for them to go with their spouse, which at some point we'll be opening up to the public as well, which is oriented around a more preventative approach to diet. So in terms of creating, is there a business model out there for Whole Foods to bring that in some sort of spin-off form or something? I think we've been looking at some interesting ideas along that line, but I think our focus has been around this healthy eating education, the materials and the curriculum around that. Thank you. Yes?
Hi. Well,
Hi.
Several of the examples that you gave today focus on different ways in which you localize stores.
Right.
Not just design, not just programs, not just the suppliers. I wonder if you could expand a little bit about that, because I don't know of a grocer that goes as far. Are there other dimensions we're going to see as well?
So I actually think that our structure, we do, it's purposeful, right? So we actually took the store development function and we actually have it live in every one of the 12 operating regions. And the regional presidents there, one of their authorities is to design and develop the stores, and the accountability is around bringing some new innovation. So they actually have the budgets and the accountability to do that. And so starting right off, you know, LA is not New York, is not Seattle, is not Chicago. There's no way that Austin could know what's going on in those particular markets. So we've structured ourselves that way. It's a little bit chaotic sometimes, and then you have to kind of come back and just organize best practices and make sure you're sharing the information. But it's putting the decision-making where the experience is trying to happen, right? And so that's also true on purchasing. We have purchasing on the global level, the regional level, and the local level on purpose. The stores actually have the authority to bring product in, up to a certain percentage of the mix. The regions have authority. The company's designed in order to be able to distribute the intelligence and the decision-making where the action is. And I think it is a little unusual. But it does allow us to respond quickly to situations because the decisions are being made there. Now, the core values, the purpose of the company, the financial things, those are set, and those are not, regional presidents cannot sign real estate locations. But once they do, and once they propose it, they're responsible for developing it and developing it well. So,
My question?
yes.
Yes, my question for you is, given your core values, how does Whole Foods abstain from the political pressures to ensure that your product remains true to its grassroots?
I'm sorry, given the political pressure?
Yes, because clearly your company is not the norm when you think about other grocery retailers and GMOs and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So how does Whole Foods really truly stay true to their core values to provide that product for their customer?
Well, you're talking about the very core of the company. The reason the company exists is to bring quality to the marketplace. So as long as this generation of leadership is there, that's who we are. We're not going to compromise on that. And so I don't know about political pressure. I know that, you know, with the GMOs, I think, you know, what we decided to do was to come out and stand for labeling by 2018. So the customers have the choice. They can make the choice as to whether they want to purchase those or not. We're the only grocer that's done that. I can tell you the day that we announced that decision, what was interesting was, because our customers actually, they did want us to do something more than we were doing. The way that that was received was incredibly powerful. Again, one of those moments like the seafood where we got tremendous affirmation from our customers that we were taking the sort of leadership position that they wanted us to do. We did not ban GMOs. We didn't take one side or the other on that position. We just simply said we're going to label it so our customers can choose. So certainly your customers, you know, you're listening to your customers. They do influence you. But when it's up against what your core is around the quality, then that's what you're going to stand on, and we're never going to compromise on that. The culture would never stand for it, for one thing, so I'm not going to compromise on that. Yes?
My question is, obviously we've come out of a 6-year recession, and it's been quite a challenge for a lot of people in the country. So you have your core, extremely loyal customer.
Right.
What are you doing to try to get that aspirational purchase from a customer that maybe has been financially challenged up to this point to come in and, you know, perception reality and change that?
Right. So I think, you know, we've developed we developed our 365 line, which is an excellent value with anybody out there in the marketplace, both conventional and organic. So that has helped a lot to bring shoppers in. Many, like any other supermarket, we have a lot more horizontal opportunity than vertical opportunity, which is to say we have a lot more partial basket shoppers who we are helping to move along to full basket shoppers. I wish we had the jewelry full basket. Was it $270,000? And I mean, I don't know what yours is, but ours is like $33. You know, it's a big gap there. So, you know, I think what's interesting about it for Whole Foods is that because the stores look and feel like a supermarket, people feel reasonably comfortable coming in. It doesn't look like some place you're going to the moon or something. And so I think, and we continue to create a good experience. We're getting people in. The question is, can we take them from a partial basket or an occasional shopper, and can we continue to walk them down the road to make more of a lifestyle commitment to natural and organic foods? And that's the thing that we're working on. And I think it's by keeping, you know, broadening the assortment of product, by making sure we work on good value for the customers, having good value in every single category. For example, you can come in the store now and buy a 365 chicken for $1.99 a pound. It meets all of our standards. But it's an $8 chicken. That's very affordable. And we're concentrating to make sure we have those entry-level choices in every category. But then we also celebrate all the other choices that we have. You know, the pastured beef that's been raised, you know, the animal's never been confined, that sort of thing. So those are some of the ways in which we're trying to address that. And, you know, I think, and I know we'll never be, we'll probably never serve more than 25% of America, right, in terms of who wants to come to Whole Foods. But I think I have seen over the years it continues to expand a little bit at a time. And obviously with our step into Detroit, we're learning a lot about serving additional communities, and that's helping us to become a better company. So, yes.
Food is something people can easily stand behind and be passionate about. And I wonder if it's always been that way, or if Whole Foods has created that culture around it. And then to that effect, how do you take a product that you sell that might not exactly be captivating or very intriguing to the general public and make it interesting? Do you have any advice?
So the first question is, how did we get to here at this point? And I think, look, we happen to be at the right place at the right time. I think we did have you know, a lot of us that started were, we started in the mid-'70s, late '70s, kind of with the idea that bringing whole food to the world would be a good thing, and had no idea we'd get to the place where we are now. But you obviously have seen, you see the media picking it up in terms of these stories. You see the health industry talking about it more. You see science starting to weigh in with some of the benefits. So you've got this sort of collective ball that continues to roll forward that makes the case that healthy food is a good thing. And when you have 18% of your economy in healthcare, and it looks relatively unproductive to me, people are starting to ask questions about, is there an alternative? And the alternative is to take responsibility for your diet and make some changes, and you're going to be healthier. And it's a lot less expensive. So I don't know. I think all these things, the healthcare crisis, I think the awareness of food, the power of the media, and the fact that Whole Foods and others have brought these things forward in a way that people find compelling, I think all that has helped to kind of change the consciousness of America around food. How do we take a dud product and make it good? I don't know that we do. I don't know. So I'm not sure I understand what you're asking on that question.
I guess I just mean, you know, I mean, there's a culture around food and people are very interested in it. How do you take a product that is just a little bit more difficult to get the brand loyalty or the buy-in if something's, you know, not necessarily a dud, but just something that's a little bit more difficult to get a culture around?
Right. So, I mean, I think the best way there is, these are the old things, but try to tell the story, try to have it be demoed, try to have the team members get engaged in the product so they can tell the story. And, you know, look, there's 10,000 new products in the grocery industry every year, and only, you know, 20% of them make it. So part of the nature of the business is this constant influx and outflux of products. Some make it, some don't. And I think for some reason, these products that have a real story behind them, a real story behind them, those are the easiest to take and let the customers know and let them see if they want to make that choice. So, anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Given your commitment to sort of rolling out new and innovative programs, how do you not get bogged down in sort of testing and pilot type issues beforehand?
Well, again, I think because the way we've set it up is that we have, because of our empowered culture, these experiments are happening simultaneously. There's not, you set your company up as sort of a vessel of empowerment, right? And these things are happening simultaneously. And I mean, look, they have financial metrics they're measured on, you know, the same EVA and return on invested capital, all the same ones there, but they are responsible for continuing to move that innovation forward. So what happens in our company is when something succeeds, then there's an immediate collaboration and spreads around the company. So right now, our operators are actually using Instagram as a platform to move ideas around. So if something happens, you'll go up there, you'll find hashtags on Whole Foods holiday stuff, and I don't know if we're supposed to do that, but we're doing that. And so these ideas are moving around very quickly. So I guess it's a more horizontal process around innovation and experimentation. And we're good with that. And we're good with the accountability that also goes with that. So.
A question here.
Where are you? Okay,
yep.
Sir, yeah.
What's your single greatest sustainable competitive advantage?
Single greatest competitive advantage that we have? I think it's the quality standards that I referenced to you earlier. Those have been many, many years in the making. There's serious substance behind doing those. I don't think we've done as good a job communicating those to the customers as we should, to really people. There is a real difference in much of the product that we sell from the product that's on the market. It's up to us to do a better job letting you know what that is. But those standards and the work behind it, we have the highest standards in the supermarket industry. There's nobody even close. We have the highest transparency in the supermarket industry. There's nobody close. But it's up to us to make sure we continue, that our customers continue to see that as a real, see it clearly and see the benefit of that. One more, two more? Yes, ma'am.
I'm allowed to ask the second question. How do you look at groups like Blue Apron, really solving a problem in that there's a lot of people who want to make healthy meals, but they don't get
Yep.
them because they just don't have the time to get to the store. Do you ever see yourself doing something, Whole Foods doing something like that? Or would you address it in a different way?
Yeah, the question's about Blue Apron. Look, what I see happening in the last number of years is the grocery ecosystem is exploding. Customers have more choices than they've ever had, enabled through technology. And I think what the customer, many of the speakers have said it this morning, the customers want to be able to connect with you whenever, wherever, whatever platform they want, and they want you to be there to meet them. And when you're not, they're disappointed, and you don't want to do that. So we're experimenting right now with a number of things in the click and collect, which is you order online, come pick up. We've got a partnership with Square where you can now order ahead. You can order ahead, have confirmation, come pick it up. We're working on home delivery, working on a number of these things to try to see what is the customers actually want. But some of those value-added businesses that are out there are very interesting. You can pick your ingredients and then they'll prepare it and they'll bring it, and it's just exploding. And I think what probably happens there is we'll probably partner or buy somebody that's doing that extremely well. Terry made the point this morning that sometimes you just realize there's somebody doing it better or doing it very specifically. What makes sense for us is to pick some partners with whom we're aligned and to gain those capabilities in that way. And I think that's what you'll see us do.
I don't really have a question. What I want to comment on is what's really separated you guys from the rest. I'm a small vendor, a local company, and so this is really moving for me personally. It's very difficult to take a brand to market, and with the local program within Whole Foods, it gives us small vendors the opportunity to make a difference out there and to see the empowerment of the employees within the company, the team leaders, the grocery team leaders. And going from grocery store chain to grocery store chain, there's no comparison between Whole Foods and the empowerment that the store level has and the benefits that it's able to produce for small up-and-coming companies. I guess the one question that I would have is I've been blessed to have had the opportunity to grow through the local program, grow through my regional program, but now making that next step to a national mark becomes very difficult from distribution and alliances with brokers and so on. Do you guys ever think about how to play something, put something in place for the smaller, less funded companies that have solid products?
Yeah, it's a good question. We have we're now doing local loan 2.0, so we upped the facility to $25 million, and we're thinking there's now companies like yours or others that are ready for the next level of support. And so we're trying to figure out how we put that together in terms of both not just money but also support to grow your company as you begin to scale up a little bit. We also set up a facility for investing in companies. So we have taken a position now in a couple of companies who want to grow with us, and we grow together, and that's been kind of another tool that we have in our tool bag to sort of support and grow producers. But for you to go, what's interesting is because you're bumping up against, when you're local here, you're not local over here. So you get to the place where you're sort of in the middle, right? But the customer right now, the customers love knowing they love the stories in the local. But when you're from Tucson and then you show up in Chicago, it's not quite as important. They want the Chicago thing, right? So I don't know. I mean, there's this. We're starting to sort of track the pathway of the local loan recipients and how they make their journey. And so far, yes, some of them have jumped to the national distribution, and some have not. I'd be offline. We get a little more feedback on how you think that we could. What other ideas you have about that? But that's right where we are too, and saying, all right, some of this may go online. So, for example, that I think is a great platform for these products. If you're in Chicago, you might be interested in try a Tucson product because you like the story and you can't get it in Chicago, so let me try it. I think that could be a good platform for that. Another growth opportunity we could offer you, and we're actually working on trying to put that together. So.